Time for the hot topic of the hour. A new Bloomberg Morning Consult poll finding President Trump is leading President Biden in 6 of 7 key swing states as more grow frustrated by increasingly rough economic conditions. But Biden says he's going to let Trump's tax cuts expire if he's reelected. Watch this.
This is not your father's Republican Party. This is a different breed of cat. These MAGA Republicans. My predecessor rolled back protection for American workers. He opposed increases in federal minimum wage. And he was proud, very proud of his $2 trillion tax cut when he was president that overwhelmingly benefited the wealthy and created the biggest corporations and exploded the federal debt. I cut the federal deficit. It's going to expire. And if I'm reelected, it's going to stay expired.
The Tax Foundation claims a family with 3 kids earning $200,000 a year will owe roughly $7,500 more in taxes should Trump's tax cuts expire. And Joe Biden is telling us what he wants to do in this election year. There you go. Lee Carter.
And he promised no more taxes for anybody who is making less than $400,000, and here we are. I think it's another one of those issues. But when you look at some of the polling that we just saw, 70% of Americans say that the economy is going in the wrong direction. That is really, really bad for Joe Biden. And when you look at some of the other issues here, 82% of voters said that the economy is going to be very important. They talked about how important immigration is. That's really not good for Joe Biden. At the end of the day, one thing I think we have to keep in mind, looking at these polls, Donald Trump is ahead in 6 of the 7 states. And you look at the average of all these states, he's ahead in all of the states. If you introduce third-party candidates, he's winning. He never won in the polls once in 2020 or 2016. Wow. Never once. He usually outperforms the polls, but here we are, and I think that's something that Joe Biden really needs to watch out for, especially in the way he's performing lately.
People feel it. These are kitchen table issues, Mark.
Yeah. I mean, the economy stinks. Yeah. Inflation's reaccelerating. Right. Wage growth is decelerating. You got to work multiple jobs to put food on the table. And then, I mean, you can't even afford to buy a house. The median home price right now is $400,000. Wow. Median household income, $75,000. You can't afford that off $75,000. You have to make twice the median income. You have to make $150,000 to afford the median home. Like, it's absolutely insane what's going on. And then while this is all happening, President Biden wants to raise taxes.
Yeah, it's and he's telling us that $5.5 trillion in new taxes is what he laid out in his budget that he released. And then there's immigration. Jonathan, it's not just these kitchen table issues in terms of what everything's costing us. It's also the fear of a wide open border and what that means for people.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the American people really understand this issue better than the politicians think they do, because the illegal immigration issue not only is a national security issue, it's a public safety issue, but I think the American public instinctively sees that this affects their lives in terms of wages, in terms of reduced resources, reduced access to health care, education, things like that. So I think the American people are really tuned into this issue now, even more than they were in 2016. And you see Joe Biden trying to talk about it now, but I think he has blown any credibility on this issue because he has been for open borders. They campaigned on it last time, so it's almost laughable that he's talking about securing the border at this point.
And not only that, but people also understand how inflation got to where it is. They understand that Joe Biden and the Democrats spent $7 trillion on his watch, and too many dollars chasing too few goods is what spiked inflation.
They blame Joe Biden. When you look at how people view the economy and inflation, they blame Joe Biden, and they say Donald Trump, 55% to 33% say that Donald Trump is going to fix it.
Yeah, and the Committee for a Responsible Budget fact-checked him that he did not cut the deficit. In fact, it's like playing with numbers here.